The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from Orderflows, and I'm gonna get started in about a minute. It's still we still got about a minute before it hits 1 o'clock Chicago time. I know it's kind of an odd time to do a special do a webinar basically, and so I want to give people the time to make it on the call, the ones that signed up, and just a few things. Yes, this will be recorded, and I'll be sending out the recording. It'll probably be posted on my YouTube channel as well, so you can check it out. And you know, if you have questions, I'm going to put some time aside at the end to answer questions. So I'm going to try not to get sidetracked. Sometimes it's easy to get sidetracked in training like this if I keep looking at questions. And again, there's a few links that I put in the chat. I'm going to talk about them once we begin. Basically, one is to get started with GoCharting. Another link in there is for the user guide for Orderflows Trader on GoCharting. A third one is sort of instructional videos on each of the Orderflows Trader indicator. And the last one is there's a trading course that I created for GoCharting on Orderflow, specifically using GoCharting. So you can check that out as well. But I'll talk about that once we get started. I'm just waiting until we hit right on top of the hour, then I'll get started here. So again, it's it's one of those things where this has been a long project that we've been working on for a good part of this year, and I'm just excited to get it out. So let me just go through one or two last minute checks on my end, then I'll get started. Okay, so it looks like everything is fine on my end, and I'll get started here. Chris, hey, nice to see you here. We got actually quite a big audience today, and I'm excited about the Orderflows Trader appearing on GoCharting because GoCharting is a web-based platform, and so basically you could access it and do your analysis basically from anywhere without having to install it on a desktop like like NinjaTrader or Sierra Charts. And it's quite nice because the I use a Samsung Fold phone, right? So I got a bigger screen, and I look at the footprint chart when I'm out. Right? If I got to go out during the day, I'm away from my desk. It's quite nice to have all the tools there. And just a real quick question right now. People have asked me, is this going to replace the NinjaTrader version? No, the NinjaTrader version is still still in existence. It's still going to be supported. It's this is an alternative to the NinjaTrader version, right? Because again, some people use a Mac, or some people, sometimes they're going to travel or something, and they just want to have access to keep in touch with the market and the order flow while they're traveling. This is a great, what's the word? Not alternative, but a complement rather to the NinjaTrader version. And the one nice thing about the guys at GoCharting, they understand order flow, right? They are big believers in order flow. They're not just a software company that says, hey, let's put a charting software out there. Oh, and order flow is hot right now, so let's add in a footprint chart. No, they understand order flow and its importance, and they actually have a lot of tools, which I'll discuss once we begin. And so let's just sort of jump right into it here. And again, I'm going to try and keep this as short. It is Sunday, but it'll probably go at least an hour, so strap in. So again, brief disclaimer. We're all adults here, right? We know that trading does involve risk, and you shouldn't be trading with basically your rent money. Like, sometimes I see people come up to me, oh, Mike, I lost my job and I got like severance for 3 months. I need to learn how to trade to supplement that. Don't put yourself under that gun. Find trading. The markets are there for hundreds of years. They'll be there in the future as well. So take your time and learn. Don't force yourself to do it, right? Don't trade with money that you can't afford to lose. And again, that's basically just comes down to understanding that trading does involve risk. So GoCharting, okay, if you haven't already checked it out, go to GoCharting.com, right? That's what their homepage looks like. Now, with GoCharting, right, what are the benefits? Well, they have specialized tools, right? They have charting and indicators tailored specifically for Orderflows Trader, and that's why there was we made a big push to get my tools on there, because my tools are, I like to think they're cutting edge. I've developed a lot of tools that have been copied by all the other software vendors, but the problem is they don't teach people how to use them. They're like, oh, here's this tool. Okay, well, okay, fine. You go to any other trading platform, right? You'll see there's hundreds, if not thousands of indicators, but then there's no instruction on how to use it. I provide that instruction with GoCharting, and GoCharting is easy to use. It has a very intuitive interface, which is optimized for visualizing and analyzing order flow, right? So it's going to lower the learning curve, right? Especially if you're new to order flow. It's very easy to use. Some softwares is very clunky, and you make a change, and this changes, that changes, and next thing you know, the chart you're looking at 5 minutes, 5 minutes earlier looks completely different, and you're lost. And for me, this is the strongest thing, right? It's a web-based access. So as a web-based platform, GoCharting allows accessing charts and trading from anywhere without installs. So you don't have to install anything to your phone or to your desktop or anything, and you don't have to worry about machine IDs changing when there's a BIOS upgrade. You just log into it, right? Which is nice. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You change your PC, then you got to download it again. There's no like these other softwares, right? You got to do that, and you got to enter in all your details, etc. With GoCharting, it's all right there for you. You just log in from anywhere. There's education, right? They have GoCharting focuses on order flow trading through videos, guides, webinars such as this, and they have a community, right? They're active community. They have a big Discord group where you go in, and they even got a special section now for the order flows stuff, and it's got lower costs, right? I mean, you look at some of these platforms, you got to pay a lot of money for. Some platforms are thousands of dollars, and GoCharting is not like that. So I put all these links in the chat, and I want to email them out later. I just want to go over these really quick before we sort of start jumping into everything. Now, for the month of August, the Orderflows Trader is free on GoCharting, but when you think of it as a free trial right now, okay, eventually it's going to go to a paid subscription, a monthly one, but quite small, relative to I see other softwares that just have basically a footprint and actually have like 2 or 3 of my tools on there, and they're charging like $200 a month. We're going to be charging much lesser than that. Right now it looks like it's going to be $49 a month for all the tools I'll be talking about today. And if you want to get the CME data at a discounted price, you can get it for $10 for the first month, but you got to sign up through this link. Now, it's gocharting.com, this one right here. Okay, and again, it's in the chat, but I'm going to email it out to you guys, because if you don't go through this link, then you're going to pay $35. So it's an extra $25. So you're saving $25 on the data for the first month. Now, it will recur after the first month at the normal $35. But again, if you're testing out a software, you want to check it out in real time. I wasn't able to get them to offer it for free, but so they are taking a small loss on the data feed. So you can try this Orderflows Trader package. Okay, but again, when you're testing software, ideally you want to test it on real-time data and see how it looks under say the microscope, but with real-time data. Now, I created a user guide specifically for the Orderflows Trader on GoCharting. Okay, so that's the second link. Again, all these links are in the chat, and they will be emailed to you. I have a special page for with instructional videos on each of the indicators that are from Orderflows Trader that are on GoCharting, so you could understand, when you want to use them, what they mean, their significance, etc. Because it's one thing having tools, but if you don't have any instruction on why they're created, you're probably not going to use them, right? Like I said, every charting platform out there in existence has hundreds, if not thousands, of indicators. You don't use them because you don't know anything about them. That's why I have this special page that explains the indicators and how to use them. And earlier this year, I made a special order flow trading course. It's it's a short course. It's about 5 modules, I think. It's sort of a introduction to order flow, and it's a nice course. You can get access to that for free. It's and again, it's GoCharting based, right? So it's based on what you're going to be looking at on GoCharting, and that's the link. It's kind of long. That's why I put the links in the chat below. Um, and there's a special section for chat, okay, that you got to go to find it. I'm going to also, somebody asked really a question on how they can't see the links, but let me just I'm going to answer that question really quick. There, I'm going to send it to all in the question section. There's a question section and there's a chat section of GoToWebinar, right? So you got to find it. You just probably got to scroll down a little bit. But yeah, so let's just really quick before I jump into the actual, what do you want to call it, the actual GoCharting platform. I just want to go over really quick what some of these, what the Orderflows trader has in terms of order flow, what GoCharting has in terms of order flow analysis, right? So that you could really comprehend sort of the magnitude of what you're getting with GoCharting. So with the Orderflows trader, right, we have the exhaustion print, imbalance reversal, ratio, slingshot, point of control, market weakness, sequencing, market sweeps, prominent point of controls, zero prints, inverse imbalance, multiple imbalance, buying, selling tails, thin prints. On GoCharting, they call their footprint the cluster chart. Okay, and when I show you this, it's going to sort of blow your mind in a bit. But you could actually have, you could have a right side, a left side. You put different data on the right side of the bar versus the left side. But then they also got, point of control markers, volume point of control. You can extend the point of control, value areas. You can even see where the previous point of control was. The engulfing value areas, VWAP marker, volume marker, delta markers, cumulative delta, delta divergence. Now their delta divergence, this one here is slightly different than my delta divergence, but I'll explain that. The COT marker, high-low marker, unfinished auction. Then you get into the bar statistics, right? This is an overlooked area for a lot of traders, right? They don't want to get caught up in things like delta and things like that, but there's a lot of information there. And you can see, you can get all these metrics in here. I don't use them all. I use, the ones that I find useful for my own trading, but you could have like volume. I look at volume, delta, max delta, min delta, cumulative delta, delta percentage. But you could have like the VWAP. You could have what the buying VWAP was versus selling VWAP. All sorts of stuff, right? The volumes, the percentage of volumes, the actual trades that were taking place, all sorts of information. Okay, so that's great. So again, there's a lot of tools available on GoCharting. Analyzing order flow requires a nuanced approach that goes beyond the surface level interpretation. It's just price, right? You want to look under the hood, so to speak, right? It's going to necessitate a thorough understanding of underlying dynamics, right? That's why having bar statistics is very useful, because those underlying dynamics drive market behavior. And by delving into the intricacies of order flow, traders can uncover valuable insights that will inform their investment decisions. Basically, you're trading. So that's why there are many different order flow tools on GoCharting. Whoops. Okay. All right. So where am I here? All right. Let me pull up GoCharting really quick. If I can find my mouse. Where's it? Okay. So here we are. GoCharting. Okay. Now it might be a little hard to see my mouse. Now sign in. Okay. Let me log out here. Okay. I've got my own login, but I did get a question. How do you log in? Right. Simple. Right. You click login. It's going to ask you to sign in. If you don't have an account, you got to create an account. Okay. Now, if you are going to create an account, you got to decide which data you want. Okay. So, like for example, they have India, Forex, and crypto. That's $14 a month. That's not much. This is if you're doing it annually. If you do it monthly, it's a little higher price, right? Billed monthly CME premium is $35. But if you use that link that I put in the chat, it's gonna, when you go through the whole checkout process, right? You're gonna see buy now, right? Then it's gonna ask you to create an account. It's still gonna show 35. When you get to the final page, it'll show the discounted price, okay? And I made a video on crypto yesterday, it's a great way to if you like to analyze crypto. But anyway, let me just log in here real quick. So again, it's got my saved information already. Okay, then you just click on products. Now my default, right, shows as Nifty, but I'm going to talk about E-minis today, ESU, right? I just type it up here in the upper left-hand corner, right? I open up the sort of the chain here and I find which contract I want to look at, right? September contract. Okay, so now you can see it here, right? You got to expand it out a bit, right? Click on the bottom. Now, this is the chart that I use, okay? So I just want to show you how to add it. We'll go through from scratch, okay? So for example, if, say it's the first time you use GoCharting, okay, you're not going to have a lot of this stuff on your charts, right? It's going to look like this, right? It's a simple bar chart, right? E-mini 1 minute chart. Okay, and you want to add order flow. What some people, you have to go through, there's a little process you got to go through, right? If you just click on here, add order flows trader, right? You're not going to see anything. What you have to do is you have to add the cluster chart first. Okay, so let me just take this off and take you through the setup, right? So if you're at a basic candlestick chart, you go to charts, the bottom one here, cluster. Okay, that brings up your footprint chart. Okay, now to add the order flows trader, then you click on order flows trader. Okay, and it's going to add the different things. Now, let's just take a look here at the settings. Now, expand this up a bit. First, let me just, I don't want to confuse people, so I'm going to disable a lot of these things here. Okay, so then on the cluster chart, disable unfinished auction, VWAP marker, that off. So, okay, this is sort of your basic footprint chart. Right? You got your volume on the bid, volume on the offer, your point of control in the middle. You see the buying imbalance, you see your selling imbalance, etc. Which is basically a basic footprint chart. Now, the important thing to remember with GoCharting is this layers up here in the upper right-hand corner, okay? Because that's basically where you're going to make a lot of the changes to your footprint. So what you want to do, what I like to do, right? This is the chart that I like, okay? And if you're interested in sort of my chart, just message me and I can I'll send you the URL so you can open it up. I like a double cluster chart, right? So I have volume on the bid, volume on the offer, right? You could do a single chart where it just shows, just the volume, right? Okay, but I like to look at the information, right? Now you could choose what you want to look at: trades, buy trades, sell trade, percentage, volume, etc., delta, percentage bid, and the ask. So since I'm using both a double-sided cluster, a right side and a left side, I know that the left side, right, is going to be, sorry, this is the left side. The left side is going to be what aggressive sellers are selling into the bid. So that's why I have it as sell volume. And the right side is where aggressive traders are buying from the passive sellers, right? So that's why it's buy volume. If you want to get, fancy, you can even do like bid ask on both one side, right? You got to expand it up so you can fit it there. You can see the volumes, and maybe you want to have, delta on the other side. It's nice to look at, but again, it's all about what you want to see on your chart and what you're used to looking at, okay? But for now, I'll just keep it as sort of the normal sell volume and buy volume, which is what most of us are used to. Now, imbalances, okay? Right, you can see this red thing is one thing, if you want to change the color of the text of the footprint, it's this one where it says text, okay? change that there. You just click on it to change the color. I like black on white, right? When you know, some people like to have a black background or something like that, but you know, when you read a book, it's black text on a white background. So, in my opinion, footprint is best used there. Now, imbalances. Okay, this was a change that I asked them to make because before, you know, what they had was a thing where it would highlight the imbalance in the bar. Okay, a certain color, like in this case, orange. But most of us are used to looking at the actual number, right, being the volume being printed red for selling imbalance and blue for a buying imbalance. Okay, so I don't necessarily use that. I don't use the color. Here's where you can change. You could use a ratio or a fixed number. It's fixed numbers based on volume, but the ratio, this is where you're going to adjust it here, right? If it's 400, that'd be 4:1. Okay, it's in a percentage. If you want to use 1,000, you'd use, you know, if you want to use 10:1, you'd change it to 1,000. Okay, if you want to use 300, you change it to 300. I use 400. Okay, now show support resistance zones. Okay, that would be for stacked imbalances. This is their stacked imbalance one. They call it support resistance zones. You could adjust the amount, right? So here's stacked buying imbalance zone of 2 up here. Again, that's for 2. If it's 3, there's nothing showing. Okay, so I'll turn it off. A couple other things. Again, you can play around with a lot of these. Point of control marker. Okay, if you click on that, it just makes it the whole price. Now, one of the things with GoCharting is you could adjust the opacity on a lot of things, right? So you choose the color, and then down here there's sort of this checker area. That's the opacity. So if you want to, you know, have it colored, and then but still read underneath, you can just change the opacity. Okay, but I don't. Where is it here? I don't need that. Volume, point of control. Whoops. Again, you know, if you want to have that on there, you could adjust, you know, whatever color you want, how strong you want. All right, PLC marker. If you want to extend it out, basically draw the line out. Right, it's good for you know, seeing point of controls where they don't trade back into the next bar, right? Because oftentimes it's going to trade back to it, right? Generally, point of control is going to act as support or resistance, right, on a rising market or a falling market, right? You can see here, or it's just leaving it abandoned as the market sells off. And let's just go back up here. Okay, so I'll close that down. Where am I here? Previous point of control, right? If you want to know where the previous point of control was as the next bar is forming, I mean, obviously you could see it, you know, on the chart, but if you want to have a visual representation of it being printed out there, it's right there. Value area, right? To me, this is an important one. Let me just take that off here. Value area is very important as a trader, right? You want to know where value is. Okay, so you could, you know, you could adjust the colors. It's very flexible. If you want to extend it out, extend value area extension, right? Is you want to be looking for those value areas that are potentially going to act as support or resistance. Okay, right? This is right. You can see there's none here. But when you see them, right, you can see how the market sort of trades back into it and is trying to decide if it's going to hold or not. You know, here, right, beautiful one. Went up, came right back in. This value area held, and then it had a nice move up. Where am I here? Okay. VWAP marker, right? It will print the VWAP price level on your chart. Here you can see each of these levels and the price in the middle. That's where VWAP is, right? Volume marker just prints above or below. Delta, same thing. Cumulative delta. Now delta divergence, okay? Let me just put up the delta marker. Delta divergence, what it's going to do, right? You can see there's this red line, this blue line, okay? And the whole point of it is this bar is a green candle with negative delta. This bar is a red candle with positive delta. And it's just highlighting to you that, hey, you know what, you have a divergence between price action and what delta is. Okay, and that's important in my mind at turning points, potential turning points, or swing highs or swing lows, right? Not necessarily in the middle of moves, although sometimes, you know, if you're in the middle of a move, you want to have some sort of clue that there's supportive buying or aggressive or resistant selling taking place. But it'll draw that line there for you. So it's just a visual reference of, you know, we do have some divergence coming in here. COT marker, you just show it right above the bar, right below the bar. High-low marker, basically the distance of the bar, right? This distance from high to low. In ticks, unfinished auctions, right? It'll draw that line out from the top of the bar if there's an unfinished auction, 14 and 85, 122, 117. So here's a line on top, here's a line on the bottom, okay? Now let's jump into the actual Orderflows trader platform. So what they've done actually is they've incorporated the value areas. In the past, they didn't have the value areas on here as part of their main cluster chart, but it's really such an important part of my trading. So I'm happy to see that they put it in there. Okay. Now exhaustion prints, right? Now what an exhaustion print is, for those of you that don't know, is it shows when the last buyer has bought in an up move or the last seller sold in a down move. Basically, the buying is exhausted on the move up. There's no more interest in buying, and the market generally will naturally drop, right? Conversely, in a down move, right, the selling is exhausted. There's no more selling interest, and market's going to begin to rise because there's still that buying interest, you know, in the two-way auction. There's just imagine it as the buying interest or the selling interest is removed from the market, and you can actually set the threshold. Let me just turn off the value area extension here. Okay, so you can see here, right, exhaustion print, exhaustion print, exhaustion print, exhaustion print. Where, you know, this can be very useful is, you know, if you're coming into, you know, a low or a swing low, you're making a swing low, and the market starts to move up, right? What, like here, right? Right, we came down nicely, right? Then we're just sort of forming this bottom, this nice rounded bottom, start going up, okay? Well, if this market's going to go lower, right, you still want to see some strong selling taking place, right? But if you're getting at the bottom of this bar, just 3 contracts, sort of the sellers are done, right? They're not interested in moving this market any lower, and you get a nice move up, right? So look for these at swing highs or swing lows, or even in moves, right? To just sort of basically tell you that, hey, you know what, we've got some momentum that's building, and you know, traders aren't interested in really selling anymore. So the next one, imbalance reversal. Okay, so imbalance reversal is basically a sign of trap traders. Okay, and what it's going to do, okay, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, look up here, right, these 2 boxes here. Okay, turn it off, turn it on, right, the boxes there. Is it's basically telling me that right up here, you have some trap traders, right? Look where it's coming in, right up here. And then the market sells off, right? Let's see if I can find one, sort of a bullish one. There's a bullish one down here. We just came down, made a new low by what, 1, 2 ticks, right? Hit that double bottom here. But I know that down here, traders were getting trapped, right? And traders probably getting trapped here, just not kicking off that signal. But again, from this low, right, we, you know, 2 bars later, we went higher, but eventually we went, you know, much higher, okay? Now, just what am I here? Let's turn this off. Ratios, order flow ratios, okay? Drink some water here. You know, ratios, right, is something that, you know, is sort of the whole reason why I created the order flows trader in the past, because I used to do these in my head. And, you know, there's basically a ratio. It reads the, analyzes the order flow, and if the order flow is bullish or bearish, it puts a number below the bar here or above the bar. If it's bearish, it's going to be above a red candle. If it's bullish, it's going to be below the bar, right? You can see right here. Point, okay, what happened here? You know, 132. It's going to be this blue number, 50. Okay, 64, 38. And, you know, really, it basically is just telling you there's either price support or price resistance. and it's an important part of my own trading ever since probably the last 10 years. And that's why I created the Orderflows Trader initially, is because I was using just a plain order flow footprint chart in the past, and I would just calculate this stuff in my head, and I wanted to have it on a chart so that I could take advantage of it without having to calculate it, right? Just visually see it. Slingshot point of control, okay, is basically it's a point of control set up here. So you can see a couple here, bearish here, but bullish up here. It analyzes the point of control relative to previous bars point of control. It basically can signal a directional move. Okay. In this case, well, obviously this one didn't work out. The next bar didn't even go any lower, right? When I see a slingshot point of control, I'm looking for the next bar to start trading higher, right? Before I take a trade. It's not that, oh, I got a bullish slingshot point of control, I got to immediately get long. No, you still need the follow through order flow, right? You had a little bit here, market went sideways. This one definitely you would not be taking. Now, market weakness is sort of the next one I want to talk about. Okay, market weakness, and you could see, I don't know if you saw that little arrow flash right there. Okay, when I turn it on, right? You can see it down there. What it's telling me is, based off of the order flow, is areas where the market is exhibiting weakness after a move up or down. Okay, so for example, this market has been moving down, and it gets down to this low area where when it gets kind of tricky, because when people think of market weakness, they think, oh, the market's weak, it's got to sell off. Really, what it's measuring is the intensity of the selling that's taking place, right? That aggressive selling that's taking place, moving the market down, has weakened, right? So this is a reversal signal, and you can see the market reverse from here back up, right? You can see the market was selling off a little bit, pulled back here, market weakness, market went back up. One here, right? Now here we hit a high, sold off a little bit, came back up, market weakness right here. This, we call that magenta down arrow. Okay, look, right? You can see it's off, now it's on. Okay, and market started to come off a little bit there, sort of trade sideways for the most part before eventually started coming off, and then weakness here and here. Okay, so it's it's a sign. Now, sometimes what people want to do is they want to put everything on their chart all at once. They can, oh, I got all these tools, I'm going to use them all at once. No, you really want to use the ones that are going to help your trading. Because sometimes people throw everything up on there and they're like, okay, make it work. And it's like, sometimes you get all the ingredients for your recipe, and people expect that they're going to be a master chef. Well, you still got to use it completely correctly. So next one I want to talk about is sequencing. Okay, this is bullish sequencing. So again, under the layers tab here, right? This is where you're going to be able to adjust everything, right? Off, on, whoops, right? Hey, where's my bullish sequencing here? Okay, right? Off, on, right here. Okay, this is bullish sequencing. What sequencing does is it analyzes the order flow. Okay, so yeah, if you ever looked at a dome, right, or the depth of market, right, you understand what the order book is, and there's what we call a solidified order book, right? And a solidified order book is one in which there's more volume at each level, either on the way up or on the way down. Okay, because most of the time, order book has it has volumes at different levels, but it's varying, right? It's not like sequentially more and more and more. But when it starts being sequentially more and more and more, oftentimes what you have is someone trying to put pressure on the market. But when there's a bullish sequencing, someone is coming through and lifting subsequent higher volume offers in sequence. Okay, and it's generally a bullish signal will be generated. Let's find a bearish. Here's a bearish one here, right? So bullish one here, bearish one here. And again, when you're trading a sequencing, it's not something that is going to all of a sudden turn the market from the low all the way up to new highs of the day or anything like that. You really want to watch the follow through order flow, because what you have is a strong trader coming through here, usually pretty quick, hitting this bid, 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 each level for more and more volume until it's finally cleared, and you're looking for continuation, right, for the market to keep going. Just as, this one here, you don't get that continuation in the next bar, right? Next bar just goes inside. Right here, you get a little bit of continuation. Next bar starts going higher, and you get a nice pop. It's a nice trading signal for the near term, right? With order flow, you're reading what's happening in the market right now, so you want to take advantage of what's happening in the market, right now, basically, right? And take advantage of it when it comes in, and profit from it. So a sweep, okay, market sweeps. Now, what this tells you is areas of potential market sweeping activity, okay? When there's maybe a big, strong buyer coming through or a strong seller coming through, right here, okay? And what it's doing is telling you, yeah, someone swept through this area here, someone swept through this area here. And again, it's nice for, immediate moves, right? To understand that, hey, you know what, you got a big, aggressive seller taking place or a big aggressive buyer taking place. Now, the next one, let's see, prominent point of control. Okay, this is, one of my favorites. And there are ways to trade this that, I talk about in a lot of my videos. Okay, so again, with GoCharting, right, if you scrunch the chart, it's going to compress it. Okay, I like to sort of keep it up so I see the prices at each level, so I get a true identification of, where the point of control is, right? Once you start scrunching up small, it's going to change the integrity of your chart. So I like to keep it normal, okay, right, like this here. So I can see here, prominent point of control, prominent point of control, prominent point of control, prominent point of control. These are bearish ones, right? They're magenta. If they were blue, that'd be bullish. But you can see here, I got 1, 2, 3, and then the market has this nice drop off from 80 all the way down into, this is what, 73, this is 74, pulls back up, starts working its way back down with more bearish prominent point of controls. Now, prominent point of control is a point of control that matters, right? Every bar has a point of control. It's simply the price with the most volume. But you have to take point of controls in context of the overall market. Okay, so you can see certain point of controls are going to be acting as resistance, 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 right? Resistance, potentially support here, potentially support, but it's breaking down immediately. If you're looking at support, you're not going to trade right through it in the next bar. But that's what prominent point of controls are. These are a very important part of my own trading. Okay, and I love the ones that are not tested in the next bar. Right, I know guys. Ever since I first released this prominent point of control concept back in 2016, they built their whole trading plans around trading with prominent point of controls. Okay, so it's something, at a minimum you should look into, right? If there's one thing, sometimes people ask me, what's the one thing I should focus in on order flow? Well, there's several one things, right, that you could sort of build a trading plan around, and that's one of them, prominent point of controls. Now, zero print, okay? Now, honestly, in a market like E-minis that trades strong volume, you might not get many zero prints. I don't know if there's any even in here. This is on Friday's session. Okay, there's a zero print right here, right? It's just basically highlighting me. There's a zero on the top offer side of the bar, or if it's a red candle. If it's a green candle, it would be on the bottom bid side of the bar. Let me just pull up another market. As I said, on E-minis, you don't get a lot of them during the day. But again, like I said, not everybody just trades E-minis, right? A lot of people trade currencies. Okay, so you can see here, zero print, zero print, zero print, and the market's going down. Generally, on a market that's going up, let me just in a bit and make it a bigger chart, like maybe a 5-minute chart here. You can see the zero print coming in right here. Stand this up here. Where'd it go? All right, this is worse. I don't know what I did here. There's a bullish zero print. Right, there's another bullish zero print. Okay, so you can see them on, markets that other markets besides just E-minis. Right, here's a bearish one right in here. Here's a couple bullish ones coming in down here, zero print. The one nice thing about GoCharting, which I like to do sometimes, is I just like to keep the candle. I've got whatever some of the tools that I'm looking at showing on here. Sometimes I just get a little tired looking at a actual footprint, but I know that it's happening. The zero print's coming in here, zero print's coming in here, right? Just for a quick glance, that's something you can do. Let me just go back to E-minis. Okay, so again, guys, I'll get to your questions afterwards, just not right now. Inverse imbalance. Now, inverse imbalance it's a sign of potentially trapped traders. Okay, it's not a definite sign of trapped traders. So let's go here. Okay, so sometimes traders get a little excited, doing with their aggressive buying and their aggressive selling, and you want to be clued in on it. Now, with you'll see some of these bars here, right? If we were to make it a little smaller, like here's a sign here, here's a sign here, here's a sign here, one here, one here, right? This is let me just show you. I turn it off. Right? Inverse, like those little triangles disappeared. Now, what it's meant, the way it's meant to be used is that swing highs, swing lows. It's a potential turning point. Okay. If a market's just going sideways and you see it coming in like here, right, you just got to ignore it because the market's going sideways. Really, you're looking for inflection points in the market, right? Where here, right, we come up to a swing high, right? Here's one tick off a swing low. Yeah, I mean the market is going down. We got one here and here, but really that's not how it's meant to be. You want to be making a low, 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 giving you some signs that, hey, you know what? We got a base forming in here. Traders are getting trapped in the market. Okay. Now, let's move on here. Multiple imbalances. Okay. You see here, this bar's got multiple imbalances. It's a purple color there. Okay. See that? Turn off, turn on. Turn off, turn on. I don't want to confuse you here. Let me just turn off this. Turn off the value areas here. Okay, so right here, multiple buying imbalances in the bar, 1, 2, 3. All right, we all are familiar with stacked imbalances, but there's times where there are imbalances in a bar that are not stacked neatly on top of each other, and you've got a lot. Does that mean they're not important because they're not stacked? No, of course not. They're still important. Here you got two that's stacked, but then you got another one up here. So I know there's aggressive buying spread out through this bar. Okay. Here's 1, 2, 3. That's a stacked one there. Right, stacked multiple selling imbalances right there. Market in this case just went sideways. So again, and if you're using 400 to 1, right? Whatever you have your imbalance ratio set at here, if you're going to use, 300, it might be different, okay? If you're going to use, 1,000, it's going to be different, all right? But I use 400. Whoops. Okay, so that is multiple imbalances. Now, buying and selling tails, okay? Buying and selling tails on E-minis is not something you see a whole heck of a lot. It's more prevalent in other markets that have a bit more volatility. And basically, it's bad structure in the market. I won't say bad structure, but sort of poor structure. Let's see if there's any even on NASDAQ on this day. What am I looking at? A 1-minute chart. Okay, here. I got to open it up a bit. So you can see right here, this is bearish, this is bearish, this is bearish, that's bullish. What it is there's no counter trade here, right? What's happened is you have a strong seller down into the bottom of the bar, then the market snaps back. Just as, up here, right? Market opened up, traded higher, and then you got basically, you had like, I don't know how to describe it. Think of it like an order, a stop getting triggered and popping up in here, right? Maybe a stop for someone, most of us, we just trade relatively small size, for us, 10 lots would be big, but, for, a regular institutional trader at a bank, 50 lots is nothing. They just hit the buy button, buy 50 at market or whatever, or buy it up, how many ticks, and that just clears everything out up there, and then the market immediately reverts back down. Right, so that's actually, even though you had a buyer come in here and basically buy everything up, it's actually, people say, well, you had that big buyer come in, wasn't that bullish? Shouldn't the market go higher? Well, you didn't get any follow through, right? There was no follow through, even though you had a big buyer come in. There's zero follow through, right? There's zero trade here. It just, market just jumped up a few ticks and is reverting back down. That's why it's bearish. That's why it's bearish here, right? That's why it's bearish here. And that's why this one is bullish. This is the opposite. Somebody came in here, sold it down really quick, and the market revert and went back up. Right? So you can see there's some nice moves that come out of it. All right. That's the buying and selling tail. And the last one I'll talk about for now is the thin prints. Okay. But let me just go back to ES, get out of this MNQ. So a thin print, right? Now you can adjust what you want as a thin print. Where is it here? So the default is 5. If I set it to 0, I just want to see bars where there was 0 volume traded either on the bid or the offer internally inside the bar. Because I know that this market is moving pretty quick, right? There's no counter trade, 0 against 69. So when the market was theoretically bid offered here, there was nothing to trade it here. Really what happened is somebody just bought it up, 2 ticks through it. Here you got 0. Here you got 0. So you got a strong seller just, in a sense, sweeping through a price level, right? And the market didn't even have time to sort of fill that in. And it's nice because it gives you some nice levels, when they're there for the market to sort of come back and fill it. It's kind of an intra-bar gap, if you will, right? You can see here, right? If you imagine, if you just have an offer sitting in here, right, you got this bad structure, so to speak, in the order flow at 74 3/4. You drop an offer in there, a couple ticks stop, 3 ticks to get, 6 ticks, something. There are people that trade this on longer time frames. Let's take a look at a 15-minute chart if there's any even appearing. What day are we on here? So let's go back to Friday, okay? Well, I got it at 0. If I were to adjust it from 0 up to maybe a higher number, 9. Here. Well, there was one here, and you got another one here. Right? You can see it's acting as support. Right? This one came in, filled the gap, sort of went a little bit lower, then it's just, going back up. This one's holding. Again, this is at 9. Depending on the market you're trading, look at this one here. This one was beautiful. Imagine this is a 15-minute chart. Okay, what was the volume that went through there? Right, 15-minute chart is trading in the E minis. How many thousands of contracts on a 15-minute period, and even at levels, it's trading several thousand contracts. You can see 3.8, 3.7, 3.5, 1.2, 700, 900, 500, and 0. That's important information. All right, and again, you don't have to use 0 depending on the type of chart you want. I was set at 9. Maybe you want to set it at 100. Okay, and you can see here, there's a 0 there, 70 here. Okay, here, this one, there was 100. It came right down literally to that tick and went back up. Okay. It's late in the day there. But you get the idea, right? That's the importance of using these tools. Again, it's going to vary on the market that you're trading, what sort of volume you want to use, etc. Okay, so that's the main part of the order flows trader. Now, people say, well, I want to see bar statistics, right? I want to know, they're used to seeing volume and delta numbers down at the bottom. So what you got to do for that is you go to study, go to order flows, this one called bar statistics. Okay, it puts it up here. You just drag it down with your mouse like this. And again, you can go to the layers. You can choose what you want to see, bar statistics, right? Let me just that smaller, make this a little smaller, right? You can choose. These are the ones that I chose, right? Volume, delta, max delta, min delta, cumulative delta, delta percentage, okay? And you can set the thresholds down here. They're already, if you want to adjust what the defaults are. And these are important because, so the first one is volume, okay? I like to see the volume of the bar, but then the delta, okay? So there's going to be times where, let me just find it here, certain volumes close next to each other. So let's, for example, let's go here. Delta threshold, 95%. Okay, so you can see here it changed color, right? It's just normal red for negative delta, green for positive delta. But if the delta closes near its max delta or min delta, I want to know that, okay? Because like in this bar, right, we came up here to a swing high. Now some aggressive selling came in, and it was strong aggressive selling. The final delta closed right near our min delta, which is our strongest delta was in the bar. Okay. And again, it just gives you that information, just as down here, right? Market's going sideways. Now I know aggressive buyers are stepping in. Our final delta of 512 closed within 95% of our max delta. So it's telling me, hey, you know what? Aggressive buyers have finally taken control. And you can see this market had a nice move up. Max min delta here, right? You can set it to whatever you want. I think the default is set to 3, positive or negative. Let's say you want to set it to 5, right? So you can see here, basically it's just telling you that in this bar, right, if it's a white number in the max delta, that there wasn't much max, there was either none, or meaning 0, or a small time period, because it's small volume of 4, where aggressive buyers were in control. Just as here, they were never in control, 0, 0, 0. Okay, and it would be the same for aggressive sellers here, right? 0 min delta, right? 0 min delta. And oftentimes you're going to see it, right before a market starts to sell off or rally here. In this case, sell off because it's zero min delta. All right, I'll be looking for some signs. Okay, how you use this? Okay, I got zero min delta. Okay, now I'm going to watch how it comes out of here because I know that there was strong aggressive buying, right? Because the max delta was 173, although 173 is not that strong. I want to see, okay, maybe let's see what happens if the aggressive sellers start coming in and how aggressive they're going to be. Then they come in here in force, minus 657, minus 144. Now delta percentage threshold, default is set to 25. But again, you could adjust it. Say you want to set it to 20, a slightly lower number. Um, you know, again, default is set to 25, so that's why some of these numbers aren't appearing. But here, set it back to 25. You can see 24 is not showing, but 35% is over here on this side, 25.66. And what that's telling you is basically the volume, the delta into the volume for the bar is quite strong, right? So if I know that we got strong negative delta of minus 1.4, overall volume for the bar is 4K. 35% of the bar's volume is negative delta because markets do a good job of distributing volume, buying and selling. But there's times where it's lopsided, where in a sense you have imbalance. This is a form of imbalance in the bar, and you want to be able to take advantage of things like that when they do appear. Sometimes you get big moves out of them, sometimes you get smaller moves out of them. So again, this is the whole point of using order flow is not just about throwing everything that's available onto your chart. You want to put the tools that are going to help you analyze order flow, analyze the market that you're trading. Okay, so if most of us have watched the movie Wall Street, I read a story recently that the Gordon Gekko guy, his character is inspired by Jesse Livermore. Okay, we all know who Jesse Livermore was, right? Reminiscence of a stock operator. And how did he trade? He was a tape reader. So reading the tape is not something that's just new in the last 15, 20 years. What's new is how the data is analyzed, right? Because we've come a long way from looking at a ticker tape, right? Those old ticker tapes in the 1920s and 30s. You see the guy standing around in a trading room. It's brilliant now that the software like GoCharting can work on your phone. I mean, in my opinion, that's like not putting a man on the moon, but it's a big advancement in trading. Okay, so you got to take advantage of the tools that are out there because there's still a lot of people they don't use order flow, right? They're content to follow price, and more power to them. Some people make money with it, but majority do lose money just following price, right? You got to understand the intensity of the buying and selling that's going on. All right, so I got some time here. What time is it? It's about just for 2 o'clock. I'm going to go through some questions really quick here because I don't want to keep you guys on all afternoon. I see that there's a lot of questions here, but let me just open it up really quick. But hang on a second. Let me just put something back on the screen here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I'm going to put this up here. Again, these are all in the chats, right? If you want the discounted data plan for 1 month at GoCharting, go to this link here. It's in the chat, right? There's questions, on your, if you were to expand your GoToWebinar dashboard, there's a chat on the bottom. Okay, it's all right in there. But I'm just going to go through some of these questions really quick and get you guys on your way. It's a Sunday. Nicholas in Greece. Hey, Daniel, I'm doing good. Yes, Stefan had asked, Stephen rather, there will be a recording. How fast an internet do we need for GoCharting for trading? It's, again, most of us got decent internet connections. I look at the footprint on my phone, um, while my kids are playing, soccer, right? They got a soccer game and they got practices in the evening. Sometimes I want to just check in what the market's doing. I don't even know what my speed is on my phone, but honestly, it's not like you need a T1 line. Well, nowadays there's all, they all talk about giga speeds, but honestly, I think you could get, as long as you got a decent connection, you're fine, right? I've sat in the public libraries just using the Wi-Fi there. It's fine. I don't think there's a minimum requirement, but you just need a normal internet connection. Um, okay, so uh, okay, Israel, I talked about how to log in, and yeah, Deborah asked about crypto. Yeah, you know what, Deb, I posted a video yesterday actually about crypto, and it's nice because you asked about Ripple, XRP. Now, you're probably going to need the crypto data plan, but as well, there's different exchanges. It says here. The one that I look at is Coinbase. I don't know if you can. Well, yeah, and this is where it gets tricky with XRP, right? Because I don't think Americans, well, maybe now with the lawsuit settled, can buy it again. But I know they stopped people in the U.S. from buying it. But here, let's pull it up. XRP. Just give it a second, right? There's your footprint right there. Right? Very fast, right? If you use NinjaTrader, you know it's not fast like that. Um, Deborah, I think the cost, let me see here, is, it's under their Forex and crypto plan. Yeah, actually, you do need to subscribe to the plan, and it is not much here, crypto, Forex, crypto. Just for the monthly plan, it's like $20 or something, but that gives you like the order flow charts, order flow indicators. They got a lot of other stuff on there I haven't even delved into. It's very robust platform on what you could do. But yeah, you would need the Forex crypto plan. Um, the, Wayne says that the links are not active. They are. Let me just pop it up. I'm just clicking these out of the chat. That's for the trading course, the GoCharting trading course. Um, this is the page on all the individual videos that I made for the Orderflows Trader on GoCharting. I'm going to try and get those up on YouTube at some point. This is the user guide here, right? I'm just clicking these out of the chat, but I'm going to email you guys all these. This is the link for signing up. But again, I'm already signed up. If you're first time signing up to GoCharting, just go through here. But I'm going to send you guys all those links later. Deborah, right now, it's a charting platform. They do have some brokers set up, not in the U.S. I'm working with a couple of brokers in the U.S., some discount futures brokers to get it, because let me just show you really quick. TradeStation, they just built in the TradeStation functionality. So I believe if you have TradeStation, account through TradeStation, you can use it. They're working on their CQG connection. I'll check with them on where they are with it. Actually, this team, they're very responsive in terms of getting things set up. So usually software companies, they have timelines, right? They have their roadmap, and I've seen some roadmaps for some software that hasn't moved very quickly, but the CQG is a big connection, because any broker that accesses the market through the CQG feeds, which is most of the brokers out there, then you can be able to connect to GoCharting on there. But I'll be talking next week with some brokers in Chicago about getting GoCharting connected to them. But the important thing is through here. Right now, these are some Indian-based companies, Zeroda, etc. But the CQG one is big. TradeStation, I believe they already got if you have a TradeStation account, check with TradeStation. But this one is big, which would allow it to connect to anybody that connects to the markets through TradeStation, through CQG. All right. let me see. Okay, one thing to note right now, right? You can see the data plans here is it's CME. Right now they only offer CME data. It's not CME, CBO, it's not CME group, right? Which is CME, CBOT, NYMEX, COMEX. Right now it's the CME and it's the main contracts. Okay, it's they don't have it down here. It's again, down the line, right? They're new to the U.S. in terms of the market, so most of us trade CME stuff. Trade the E-minis, the MES, MNQ, and the currencies. So that's our starting off point. So if you're on the board of trade, trading bonds, ultra bonds, anything like that, it's not available yet, but it is in the pipeline to get it. Okay, but we just want to make sure it's working fine on the other contracts, and it's working great. Um, on these contracts. So you can see even down here what's available. They got market profile, volume profile, and all symbols, and order flow on the most liquid stocks, right? Apple, things like that, Google, etc. Uh, Sakale asks, I'd like to know about your settings for. This is a long question here. You know what, Sakale, I'm going to make a note of this because that's not an easy question to answer because he's asking about what settings for, like, say, a bond 4 range or an E-mini 15 range charts. But you know what? I'll message you. Just give me tonight to get back to you. 4 range bonds, 15 range ES. Because that's a good question. But we'll keep that one there. Someone asked about a template link. Yeah, I'll send out my template this evening, right, after the recording is done and rendered. I'll send it out, but yeah, a few people have been asking for it here. I can see. Yeah, Chris, you can get info overload. Nicholas asks, is it worth considering GoCharting if you already bought the software for NinjaTrader 8? And yeah, it is, because it's not right now. I mean, right now it's for free, but when we do it a monthly payment, you should always have a backup of something, for whatever reason. And the whole point is this is not necessarily to replace the NinjaTrader version at this point, right? Because again, it's still, I do got to say, full disclosure, it does. Let me get my chart back up here. One of the things that they're working on, which I told them we got to get going, probably in the later part of this year, is it only works on time-based charts. Okay, so I know some of you guys use range-based charts, right, or Renko charts, or it won't work on. This is a range-based chart, right? Let me get back to an E-mini. The footprint won't work on there yet. It's something that they're working on to develop. Okay, so at the moment it's time-based charts. So this isn't going to be a replacement for the NinjaTrader version yet. Maybe down the line when we get everything, all our ducks lined up in a row, it can be. But at the moment, there's still things that need to be done because at the end of the day, GoCharting, they're I'll say new to the scene. I mean, they're big in other parts of the world, but sort of the way Americans trade and approach the market is, they're really, they got a lot of different things that they look at. Some guys use 1587 tick chart, 2594 tick chart, or volume charts, things like that. A lot of traders in different parts of the world just stick to time-based charts. So it's something that we're working on, right? That we're in the process of developing. So just bear that in mind. Jose asked, what's the 3 indicators of order flow that you put on for E-minis? I would use prominent point of control. I would use thin prints and probably market weakness. Out of GoTrader. I don't understand your question, Gary. Uh, yes, this is being recorded. Yeah, Nicholas. I mean, that is, Nicholas says, as far as advantages or disadvantages, being able to connect from any given computer under a web-based platform. Whereas NinjaTrader, you have to install in a new computer and use Orderflow. And even for me, right, sometimes I'm all set to go Sunday night, right? Like, today's Sunday, but I'll log in, right? My computers are shut down from Friday night till Sunday. I go in thinking, oh, okay. All of a sudden, I get all these pop-ups. My machine ID changed. I didn't do anything to my machine. No upgrades that I know of. Things happen in the background, and all of a sudden, it's like everything is unregistered again. And at least for me, it's easy for me to update that. But if you're using indicators from other people that's linked to your machine ID, you gotta contact this vendor, contact that vendor, contact there. It's a pain in the butt when your machine ID changes, because then you got to enter your trading details. You got to enter your market, your username and password to access the market data or your account even. So it's a pain in the butt in that sense. Whereas here it's just a web-based platform, and it's easy to go. Israel asks, can you plot a moving average of point of control? Years ago, I thought of creating an indicator, a point of control moving average, so to speak. Honestly, you don't really need that. It didn't add any value to my trading. You're better off just using VWAP, honestly. It'd be very similar. And I was talking to one guy about it. And a few months later, he went out and created an indicator on it and was selling it. But I said, honestly, you're better off using VWAP for that. Okay, Navi asks about my screen. Yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize. I do have a high res monitor, so it might be a little hard for you to watch. See, Jose asks, what will be the 3 switches of the order flow that will put you in for day trading? Yes, yeah, prominent point of control, thin print, market weakness. Israel asks, can you? Okay, Israel, this is an interesting question. Israel says, can we combine 3 or 4 indicators to get signals like to buy or sell? Well, yeah, I mean, it's a form of confirmation, and I don't mind that. Where I sort of, I'll say mind, but where it sort of goes off the track with some traders is, sometimes, again, people will put everything up on their chart, all the different tools all at once, and say, oh, well, this bar's got 5 different things of order flow, so it must be important. Well, you still got to put it in context of the market, right? It's for example, right? When I was in college, high school, I used to go to the racetrack a lot, doing the horse races, and one of my friends, he's one of these guys who mark up his racing form, a star here, a plus here, check there, a dash here. And I'd be like, what the heck are you doing? And he'd be like, oh, well, this is the horse I got to bet because it's got a star, it's got a check, it's got a plus, it's got a 1 next to it, etc. Circle this, a circle that. Okay, but just because it's got all the pluses, all the checks or whatever, doesn't necessarily make it a good bet, or in this case, a good trade, right? You still want to put it in context of the market, okay? Because again, you could have the best, whether it's order flow or anything, right? If a market is going sideways and you get, it's going sideways in the middle of value, right smack in the middle of value for the day. Everything is screaming buy. Doesn't necessarily mean the market's going to go up, right? You still need the market to sort of start making a move, right? Because when a market's going sideways, it's not moving, right? Even though you're getting some signals. So you sort of want to start putting it in context with what's actually happening in the market, as opposed to just saying, oh, I got 5 different indicators all firing off at once. Raj asks, yeah, Raj asks, it's like any indicator. Sometimes I get the wrong signal and hence the trade gets stopped out. How can I filter these incorrect signals? Do I want to wait for the next bar to confirm? Yeah, for me, I always wait for the next bar to confirm. So for example, let me just open this chart up more. Okay. Right. So here's a zero print in this bar right here, right in the middle. Right. This is a trade I'd like to take. But it's not just because there's a zero print. I want to see this bar close, confirm that the zero print is going to stay there, the next bar to open, and start trading lower. I'm fine to get in short here, here, if it's going to give me a better opportunity to be successful on the trade, as opposed, oh, there's zero print right here, I got to immediately get short. And then the next thing you know, this bar is still trading and it goes back up and fills in that zero print. Okay. Because at the end of the day, no matter what method that you trade, right, say you're getting long, you get long, you got no control over the trade. Now you need everybody else that's trading to also want to be getting long. Okay, so if nobody else is getting long after you get long, chances are market's not going to go up, right? And then we're going to say, oh, Mike got long, let's all get long. No, it doesn't work that way. They don't know that I got long, then they'll say, oh, Mike got long, it doesn't work that way, right? They other traders also have to have reasons on their own. When you're looking at order flow, however, it's giving you the signs that, hey, what? Now we got a big trader getting short here because there's no counter trade, right? You got zero volume at this level, and it hasn't come in to fill in that area, in that bar, because most bars, majority of them, 99%, you don't get a zero volume print in the middle of the bar. But when you do, that's important to recognize. And you see, look what happened, right? I told you this is poor order flow. Market sold off, came back up, literally one tick through it, and then sold off again. I saw this post, some guy on YouTube, not YouTube, Facebook. He's talking, he's selling this mentoring program. He's posting these trades 1 to 165, risk one tick to make 165. Honestly, there's nothing like that, but order flow is something that can give you a low risk entry, right? I'm not saying you use one tick, right? There's times where it literally comes right back to the tick. Imagine you get short here, you just got to tick a couple ticks up, stop a few ticks up, a point higher, risking 4 ticks to get what? This is 79 3/4, down to 4 3/4, which is here, right? Even goes lower. You're risking 1 point to get 5. Futures only. Yeah, for now, future. I'm a futures guy. I trade futures. Wilson, I'm going to send you over the my link. Yeah, Abby. I'm going to send it out this afternoon. I don't know if I could even put it in here. Let's see here. Save. I'll call this. Well, call it here. Webinar. And to continue. Let's see here. I don't know. I'll put it in the message here, in the chat box rather. Access that. I put it in the chat. So I don't know if that's going to work, but I'll play around with it. Well, I'll definitely send it out tonight. Can you change the imbalance text color? Yeah, you can. You just go to the settings. Well, no. Let me get that back. Let me pull that back. No, you can't change the selling imbalance from red or buying imbalance to blue. Okay. Manny asks, how can you take confident support trade with prominent point of control, support or resistance? So let me just make sure I got point of control on here. Prominent point of control. this down. For me, the strongest prominent point of controls are the ones that the next bar doesn't trade back into. Because it's telling me two things. One, I know this is now acting as my resistance. And two, the market is moving away from it. Right? It's trading away from this resistance area. Right? It's like this one is traded back into. It trades right up towards it, even comes back up here. Okay, then I got a new one kicking off here. Right? Market's going up. Then when you combine it with other things, right? I've talked about these. Actually, I've talked about how to use this in my things like my master class. You can start adding in imbalances, how they're appearing, value areas. Right, one of my strongest ones. You wrap it around the value areas. Okay, just really quick. This right here, you got your prominent point of control. It's in that exposed value area. Came back in, right? So the trading trades back up to a bearish prominent point of control and sells off. So there's many ways to use it. There's not one way to use it. Okay. Let's go through some of these here. Gary had asked if he's got CME data from NT8. Do I need CME data from GoCharting as well? Yes, you do. You need to get the data through GoCharting. Yes, Bob has asked, tools I demonstrate available under the NinjaTrader program of Orderflows. Yes. Agbe asks, how secure is this company? It's secure. They're a legit company. They're a big company in Asia, just not in the U.S. So they're teaming up with me to sort of bring it out to the U.S. Does it support FTSE 100? Not the futures. Okay, let me just go through a couple last minute questions here. Manny asks, how do I identify sideways market using order flow? Do you have any plan of making one for us, part of order flow indicator? Okay, well, the easiest way to identify a market going sideways is if you're looking at value areas, if the values are pretty much overlapped, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? When I start seeing value areas that are overlapped, then I know it's a sideways market. When I start seeing a gap between a value area low and a value area high, if the market's going down, then I know it's going to start to go down. Another way is just look at point of controls. If point of controls are mostly overlapping, then that's a sign of, basically a sideways market. Right here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, more or less at the same level, right? Even you got 3 here, another one here, 2 up here, another 2 right down here. It's basically a sign of a sideways market. Okay, that's the easiest way. Yeah, Navi, if you use that link that's in the chat, you can get the GoCharting data for CME at the reduced price of just $10 for the first month as opposed to $35. And right now, the Orderflows Trader platform is free. Right? They're not charging you for it. Eventually, next month, you're going to see a little lock here. Right? That means you'd have to have a paid version, which you'd have to subscribe through GoCharting, not through me, through GoCharting on that. So right now, you can access it for free. So let's see, Jose asks about the master class. Jose, I'll have to email you about that. I don't remember. I don't have it handy off my top of my head. But yeah, in the master classes, it was a live trading class, and I'm probably going to do one again in September anyway. But I usually like to do them once a quarter for traders. But yeah, I'll send you some information about that, Jose. But anyway, guys, I don't want to keep you guys on all afternoon. It's Sunday, summer's coming to an end. Thank goodness. Seems like forever for me. Um, I'm just happy to get my kids back in school, get them out of the house, off the gadgets, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be sending out the link for the replay. I know because this one is gone about an hour and a half almost. I know GoToWebinar takes, they got to render it. It's going to take about an hour, or not, no, rather, since it's over an hour, it's going to take a few hours. But I'm going to get that out to you guys by this evening. So just be on the lookout for it. And I'm going to send over the links again for you to sign up, but they're in the chat. So have a great Sakale. I'm gonna dig out your email and I'll message you directly on that. So have a great rest, or Sakale rather. I'm gonna make a video on your question because that's a question more on general trading. So I think that's something that's going to be useful to a lot of people as well. Um, so have a great rest of your weekend, guys, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.